I will. Okay, so we're gonna go and introduce yourself when you are talking. Who asks that? I'm sorry. Apologize for that.
Kiera.
Kiera. Okay. So actually, I didn't write names. One second, I'll have to log in. Let me start with other questions first. Anyone wants to ask questions themselves, please?
I can ask my own questions.
Okay. Eliana, go ahead.
Okay, so my first question is, have you ever encountered people who tried to make you feel like your art was not impressive or good enough? And how did you deal with that situation?
I'm sure I have. Not in a while. I can't recall in a while that's been the situation. I mean, that said it to my face, but to put it that way. But how do I deal with that? I mean, of course, when you post something online, you don't know, and of course, everybody's not going to like it. But you get to a point in your career where you're like, it doesn't matter because somebody's going to like it, and if no one likes it, then then really what's important is if it's did it say what you wanted it to say. Like when I critique other artists, I don't really critique them about in regards to whether I like their work or I don't like their work. If I'm trying to be helpful, then my question is it doing what you want it to do? Like, is it saying what you want it to say? And if they tell me what they're trying to say, then in regards to that, I tell them, whether this is confusing, this area here is confusing me based in light of the context of what you're trying to say. But really, I think what's more important for the artist is, first, does the work for the artist? Like, if you don't know if the work is good enough, then you need to keep working until you get that sentiment that you're pleasing yourself first. You please yourself first, and then somebody, there's people who, throw away their own art, and then other people go behind them and pick their art out of the trash, right? So there's a lot of artists who are making big moves, and their art is not that great, but they're good businessmen. They know how to market. They know. So I'm at the point where I don't really care what people think about my work. I'm looking for people who get what I'm saying. I definitely want to communicate a certain thing, right? I'm after communicating a certain thing. And that's not for everyone. That's what I'm trying to say is not even for everyone. And I'm not looking for everyone to be my client or to have my work. I only want the right people to have my work. And those are the people who get it and therefore will cherish the work. So I'm at the point where I don't really care what other people think in that regard.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like I can see that from your artwork. I see a lot of confidence in it.
I think confidence is the big key, especially in abstraction, but in all of it really, because a hesitant line, a hesitant brush stroke doesn't work. Just like in drawing, a hesitant line, it comes across as a weak, and the viewer, even if they don't know what you're trying to do or whatever, they pick up on the weakness of the hesitation, right? But confidence will cause you to it'll come off, and people are attracted to confidence. And whether it's good or bad, that's the humans are attracted to people who have charisma, and they're attracted to people who have confidence, and they repel. They're repulsed by people who don't. Should be the other way. We should be more empathetic to people who don't have the confidence, but it's not human nature. But I also find that being bold, making decisions quickly and continuously is exhausting, but it actually strengthens you. And so I think that I'm constantly improving upon my ability to make decisions and to go and leave my work and move to another piece and maybe come back and more informed, but not out of fear, but because I worked on this other piece and I was able to solve the problem, and now I can go back and fix the problem. But ultimately, my guide is what is my visual language, and am I communicating what I'm trying to in my own visual language clearly?
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Liana, do you have any more questions?
Yes. So, like, I see that a lot of your work has been inspired by scientific topics, and I really like that because, like, my majors are chemistry and biology, and I was just wondering, like, what specific part of science inspires you to do that type of art?
Well, chemistry is a big thing. Like I said before, my research background is in nanoscience and electro-optics. So physics and chemistry, like spin and orbitals and all that kind of stuff, really excite me. Semiconductors, elements. I've been doing a series about the periodic table for years now, and that has been a big impetus, because the reason why is because I see the periodic table as a one of the great creations that humans have done. It's just similar to the pyramids, organizing the elements, because up until the time that it was organized in one big pattern, the information was limited, because everything was certain people knew about this element, certain people knew about that element, but we couldn't really make real progress as humanity couldn't make real progress because it wasn't all organized. So anyway, I started making the periodic table of central focus, and I found that work that I did with the periodic table was getting more reception, positive reception from people than the stuff I was doing about math. And because I had started doing paintings that hide algebraic and trigonometric equations in the painting. And if a person who sees the painting was a math phobic, they got turned off immediately just because they have this issue with math. But everyone pretty much has a positive response and a connection to the periodic table. And I also think it's just very cool because recently they just filled in the periodic table. It's like they know all the unknown elements that was unknown back when I was in college in the 90s. They're known now. They found them. They discovered them. You know, these little magic elements. And I think that's magnificent. And they're finding more. So that means the periodic table is going to change, and its shape is going to change, and everything. And now that we're going, further off world, that we're going to Mars and looking at the asteroids, who knows what we're going to find? I think it's a very exciting time. So for the world. And anyway, that type of thing really excites me. I'm about to start a mural project for this Museum of Science and History in Jacksonville, where I'm going to focus on neuroscience and in relation to creativity and perception. So the wall is going to be about how the brain is integral in how humans create things. But also then after I finish the mural, I'm going to layer segments of it with augmented reality, something like Pokemon Go type stuff, to make it fun, and also to hopefully incite encourage more activation for people to think about the relationship between art and science and in a fun way.
Okay.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. I really like that idea.
Thank you.
Wonderful. I have a last question for Dakara. Do you have any works dedicated to a specific idea, movement, or present day inequality?
Well, the mural I showed in the presentation, the Color Jacks Blue mural, that was that mural is about the women activists in our community, who are on the front lines, fighting against people trying to suppress the vote, and also killings in police custody and that type of thing. And so we focus on 4 or 5 women in our community and to highlight them, and we put them as a feature of the mural. So that's one work that I'm very proud of, to have been participated in. And the other work I showed about Sandra Bland, again, it's about her being killed in police custody after a minor traffic violation. So, and I did another piece called Stanton Lines that I didn't show, but it dealt with the history of Reconstruction in Jacksonville. So more narrative work I do, it deals with that period of Reconstruction, which I call like a lost period, because it was a 10-year window where America could have lived up to its ideals, but failed. It got chicken, right? So after the Civil War, we were supposed to have equality, and we had Black senators and congressmen and judges and so forth. And then the Klan rises up and terrorizes the population, and then all those gains got regressed, and so we get swung into Jim Crow. So the failure of Reconstruction is a big issue for me, and I'm still mining those situations and stories, and trying to figure out how to make work that is abstract but also speaks to those stories and history in a way that is accessible to everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question from Kiara Kitchens. Her question is,
You're welcome.
Sorry, I'm just moving, alone so we can pick your brain as much as we can. Who helped you along your journey to becoming an artist?
Well, like I said, my friend, from my best friend from New York, but also my mother, of course, was like probably the first artist that I came across. My mother, she's a multi-talented person, a musician, and art drawer, a draftsman, and she makes quilts. Anything my mom wants to do, she could do. She has other issues, but talent is not her problem. Like, she's super talented. I have, and she's very creative. So I think I got my creative bone, I'm pretty sure, from her. Okay. And she also encouraged the arts in the house. My dad, not so much, but my mom always, she taught me how to play music. She taught me, she put me in dance. She drove me to the science fair. She took me to the library to read, she encouraged reading, and she homeschooled me after school. My mom was pretty on it in that sense. Also, I had an art teacher in high school, Miss Turk. She was my honors teacher, and it was really weird because she didn't like me at first for some reason. I guess she saw me do something inappropriate, and she didn't like me. She had this idea of who I was, and she wouldn't let me take in the honors classes, and she kept blocking me. And then I asked her why, and she told me what happened, why she didn't like me. She told the kids she didn't like them. But anyway, I won her over. I showed her, I made a portfolio. I spent the summer making a portfolio just to win her over, and I did. And after that, she loved me. So she made me rise to the occasion, and that was a good lesson, especially for a budding artist. So I think I won't ever forget her too, as far as an art motivator. And then I have to say my aunt, my mother's sister, she started an art studio in 1970, the year I was born, and they raised 2 kids. They mostly, and they raised 2 kids, and they bought houses and flipped them. And they did all this basically on the art studio income. And that was very impressive to me. So they were like the first people I knew personally that was actually making a living with art money, which, up until then, I didn't know it was even possible. So.
Thank you. would you think women play a huge role in a society? Women,
Oh, yeah. Do I think women artists or women in general?
women in general.
Oh, absolutely. We play a huge role, but we still there's still a lot of work to do as far as getting respect and assistance. You know, I think things are harder than they have to be.
Mhm.
And it's not necessarily, and it hurts. It's ironic. I saw a conversation the other day where they were talking about, these three reporters were talking about the Meghan and Harry situation, and it was two black reporter women and a white male, and they were over talking him. Like every time he tried to talk, they just kept talking. They talked over him like all the time, and I actually started feeling bad for him, which is ironic, because this is what men have been doing to women all this time. And now, you know, it's, things are changing slowly, but it's at that point where you can see like, okay, it's just not fair to talk over people. Just don't be rude. Just, how about nobody be rude? Right. And so my husband was saying, well, yeah, you know, when someone is being treated that way, then everyone loses. And I say, yes, and that's interesting. You see that when it's a male who's being mistreated, but you never saw that before when women were getting over talked all the time. I say, so I think the thing is, we all need to be sensitive, and instead of just perpetuating the wrongs that were done to you, you know, how about we use empathy and just try to all be better. So that's a lesson for me and everyone, I think.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Do you feel that the appreciation for Black creators in arts have improved as of now?
I think this progress has been made, but it's still a lot of frustration, I feel, you know. Like I get on Clubhouse. I don't know if you guys are on Clubhouse, but you know, on Clubhouse, I'm either very excited or very depressed. You know, it's like it's like waxing. There's no middle ground with me on that, you know, especially when I'm listening to some of the art conversations, because it's still very cliquish. I mean, the art world in general is still very cliquish. It's still about who you know, and you know, it's still about being seen by the right people. So that stuff is depressing, but at the same time, you know, I'm also encouraged because you're connecting with artists all over the world, and everybody's struggling with the same issues. And so really it boils down to, it's really about the work. Get to work, keep working, keep your head down, keep working, but you know, network as much as you can. But really, in the end of the day, it's about the work. So I mean, that's the message I'm taking from it. And for that, when in that vein is encouraging, and I can do that. You know what I mean? Like if it's a popularity contest, I probably can't do that. I'm not, you know, that I'm not that popular. But if it's about work, I can outwork you, you know, or I can work with the best of them. So, you know, but I found the same thing to be true in sciences too, though. I mean, I think every field is like that. It's a little bit more amplified because the arts are so, you know, artsy fartsy, but in the end of the day, it's pretty much like that in every field, really. You know, it's about who you know, who you connect with, and can you do the work?
Thank you. Another question that struck me from my students, they have submitted questions earlier, is would you think creative process is very, very important to life itself, you know?
Absolutely. I really, you know, I get depressed, and I go up and down, of course, like most people, but there's moments weekly that I'm very happy to say that I have a creative life. You know, that doesn't mean everything's rosy. It just means that I appreciate being able to create. Like I'm taking a writing class now, and a writing workshop, and because I want to be a better writer. And I'm writing fiction, I'm writing science fiction, and stuff like that. And you know, sometimes when the work in the studio is work, like it's not about fun. It's not about joy. I'm not having joy necessarily just because I'm in this real, I'm on the deadline and I'm in, the drudgeries of working, right? I find it, pleasurable and wonderful that I could go and escape into my writing, like, because it's, I'm not making money with my writing right now. It's just I'm creating worlds, I'm creating characters, and of course I want to make money eventually with it, but right now it's in this really pure state, and I'm learning and evolving, I'm improving, and I'm getting feedback, I'm getting harsh feedback, I'm getting good feedback. And so anyway, I just find it a blessing to have that aspect in my life. And I think it's similar to when people start gardening and they grow something with their own hands. They touch, their hands get in the dirt, and they actually manifest something. They didn't die. I think that's a blessing. Any type of creative effort, I think, is a blessing, and should be cherished and protected, and try to have that your whole life. And I think you'll have a blessed life.
Very, very good. Thank you. One more question. One of the young people have asked, is it too late? So if somebody is serious about becoming a creative individual, or artist, a painter, is it too late to change, direction, or how is it possible to do at any age?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, this is a this is a long game. Okay, I think this is of course, I'm older. I'm definitely older than mostly you people, I'm sure. But I think that there's ageism in any situation. Like I'm sensitive because I'm almost 50. I'm sensitive to people saying, "Oh, you're too old," right? But when I was 20, I was also hearing, "You're too young." When so it's always something. Someone's always trying to say you can't do it, right? They're always trying to find some reason why you can't do it, and you got to find a reason why you're going to show them you can do it. One thing I feel fortunate. I'll show you type of person. Like, I'm not, if you say no to me, I'm going to show you why you're wrong, right? I'm not going to say, oh, okay. Sometimes you get worn down, of course. And that's why you need your friends to be like, no, you got to stand up for yourself. But, because you can't always be the one that's fighting, because that's exhausting. But I do think having a fighting mentality is important. And if you want to do something, if you're 100, if you still you're functional, go for it. The whole point is live your life every day, squeeze life as much as you can. And if you want to do something, do it, because no one's coming to help you. Okay. You better do it. And you know what? You'll find out when you do it, then people come. It's just weird that way. But while you're waiting, while you're wondering why no one's helping me, no one's coming, it's kind of weird. It's kind of like nothing happens until you start moving your feet. And I'm still learning that lesson myself. So you probably gonna keep learning this, but just remember what I said. If you want to do something, go ahead and do it.
Mm-hmm.
God gave you that idea for a reason, and at the age you are when you got that idea. And so if you still have that idea, then you still can do it. You just have to have the will and the courage to go.
Thank you so much. Anyone else want to ask some questions? Please go ahead. Macy, do you want to ask any questions?
No, Mel.
Okay. Well, Princess, it's a joy talking to you. I wish we could have more time. I can't get enough of this situation. I believe your birthday is soon too. You're Aries, right?
No, actually, I'm Aquarius.
Aquarius.
I That's
Okay.
that one.
Well,
And I
I hope-
apologize. I had no intention of going on some of the things I said earlier, but I don't know. I felt led to say them, but I had this other thing planned. But so I apologize for that. But I hope that your students were able to get something positive from the interaction.
I am sure, and we will discuss some of it.
Well,
Okay.
I
Anyone
appreciate your sharing your experience with our students. This is Rodriguez Davis here.
Hello.
I love your work, and I really appreciate everything that you said in your talk. I wish that, you know, we had had you during a normal, regular, you know, school year, because these are a lot of the things that we're constantly trying to impart to students. Anyway, especially being visual and performing arts majors at a teaching institution that leans heavily towards, you know, the hard sciences, you know, but, you know, everyone is interested in trying to support STEAM, they say. So we're regularly trying to make sure that people understand that we're still here, and that, as you stated, you know, the arts and sciences are connected. It's just that a lot of people fail to realize that. And so we're regularly trying to make sure that our students understand that, you know, there are ways that you can, you know, cultivate your practice that that incorporates science if you're interested, but also to make the people over on the science side of campus understand and appreciate what you do as a science, as a technical lab-based approach to making work, right? And so I appreciate it, you know, what you said. I'm looking forward to playing this back for students in the fall, so they can see that we're not just making up stuff when we tell them this. They tend to listen to guest artists more than they listen to us anyway. So
yeah,
it'll come in handy.
Yeah. Okay, use me.
I will.
Okay. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you so much again. Thank you, and have a blessed day.
All right.
Very, very exciting.
All right. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Stay safe over there.
Okay.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right.